Hi everyone, it's Kathy Maxon. Today I am going to show you how to make a flower button bouquet using a salt and pepper shaker and buttons. How cute is that? So what I did, I picked up a 2-pack of salt and pepper shakers from the Dollar Tree, and I picked up this must be like a Parmesan shaker, so you could do this, you just want something that has a lot of holes. So normally the pepper only has a couple holes where your salt has more. So you just want to make sure your lid has a lot of holes in it. So we're only going to be using, right now I'm only going to be using the salt and pepper shaker. And then just any kind of buttons. So I have some buttons like from a stash. You can use already flower buttons. I got all different colors. So most of them, I don't remember where I picked them up from, maybe Hobby Lobby. I think this came from Walmart. I think this came from Hobby Lobby. And then you're going to need some glass beads or something. You can do sand, but you can see the flower one, I just added a button on the top, and then we just stacked them, and then I'll show you how to twist some wire, and we will fill it in to make it like it's leaves or something in there. So just get your gems. I used the white rocks from the Dollar Tree. I didn't really like them. They were kind of big and it was hard. My wire, the wire gauge I used was 26 gauge, so that's super thin. So if you want to make them, try 22 or 24 gauge wire. That'll be a little thicker. But it was hard to get the stems in through the white rocks. So I picked up green. I had picked up blue because I thought, maybe I can make some that were for patriotic, get the red, white, and blue theme going. But these seem a little smaller, so I'm guessing these will work better, and I thought maybe that would look like grass. So basically we're just going to, fill up. You could do sand, colored sand in there. You could paint the outside if you didn't want to leave it clear, and then that way it doesn't matter what you used. So you can use buttons already that have this little tab. And here I have a button here too that also has a little tab. You could do that. It's just going to be, it's just going to do a little different. But basically, since my wire is so thin, I have some buttons here. So I have like a pink stripe, and then I have like a flower, and I'm going to put like a yellow center. So this has 4 holes, this has 2, but that's okay. And then I am going to make a red, white, and blue. My top one's going to have 4, but then the bottom one's only going to have 2. So we're always going to start with what petal or what part of the flower you want on the top. So like this one, I want this littler one, so I want that on the top. So I'm basically going to fold my wire in half, just so I know where the center is. And I'm going to thread, I don't know what can help here. I'm just going to thread the button through 2 of the holes. The wire through 2. I'm going to do the opposite. I'm going to do the opposite sides on the button. See, my hands make it look darker. And then I'm going to put, then also on this striped one, I'm also going to put it 2. So then that way when I go to the top, you're going to see the wire in there. So I'm going to take another piece of wire, because mine is so thin, this is what I'm doing. Now I can go through the other 2 holes, so we're going to do it a crisscross, and see it's automatically kind of threaded through the one in the bottom. So I'm going to crisscross those just so you get a nice crisscross on that button. Then you're going to need some pliers. So you're going to hold your button in your left hand, and I'm going to hold my pliers in my right, and I'm just going to twist. Because right now I just want to twist so that my buttons stay together. I'm trying to figure out, I don't know if I can move that down or not. Let me pause and see if I can move this closer. Okay, I just got a box and I got a piece of styrofoam on top of the box. So all I'm going to do, I tightened up into the buttons. Now I'm going to hold the rest of the wires, and I'm just going to keep twisting. So then I can come down a little further. I'm just going to keep twisting. You just want to kind of, you're pulling right, pulling left. My husband actually bought me a tool, I don't know, from Harbor Freight that actually twists the wire. It's like a pair of pliers, but it twists the wire, and it kind of really, I'll show you, it twisted them nice and evenly. But you needed like 3 hands. I mean, my husband had to do it and I had to hold the buttons. So to one person to operate it, I don't know. We even had it in a vice clamp. So there, we twisted the wire, so there is our button. So then on these ones that already have the back loop, we're just going to take a piece of wire again, and it's going to be the same, kind of the same deal. I'm just going to stick one side of the wire through, and then I'm going to start my twist. And then, you know, you don't even, I guess you don't even really need pliers. You just kind of twist left. I don't know, maybe it will help a little better here. I don't have to move my right hand. All I got to do is move my left hand. But the tool he got me actually did all this for me. And if you use like the 22 or 24 gauge wire, it won't be as thin as this. Because I think that's kind of what my problem was, trying to stick it through the white rocks. But I kind of just think the white rocks were a little thick. So this is the tool. I have some made already, so you can see how nicely that braided or twisted the wire. So I have some more that I did. So I did with a heart, green heart. This reminds me of like a sand dollar. So I did that one. I'll show you how to do this one. It's just the flower, and I just added a button on top. So I do have one I can show you there. So we have a pink one with a yellow center. So our yellow center in the front, in the top, only has 2 holes. So decide which, you know, obviously which side of the button. Actually, I think I wanted the texture side. So I'm glad I looked. So just decide which side of the button you're going to want. So this one has a little bit of texture. And then just stick it in the 4 holes, just stick it opposite in the flower one. So then it just gives it a little 3D dimension. And again, I'm just going to hold it so I can tighten it just a little bit to the wire. And I'm going to hold, and then I'm going to hold with my pliers, and I'm twisting with my other hand. And just make sure you go the same way that you first originally started. So you can do it as tight or as loose twist as you want. Basically, I'm holding my right hand with my pliers steady, and I'm pulling kind of as I'm twisting. So then you have that. So then I can show you this one. We're going to do the red, white, and blue. So remember, we want to use whatever button we're going to put in on the top, whatever is going to be the top of our flower. So which is going to be the white. Now this one has 4 holes. So what I'm going to do, maybe, is I want to feed them opposite. So here, let me get, so you can see I fed it opposite where the holes are. And I think just for my sanity, maybe I'm going to get my other piece ready. So then you can, usually I was keeping them separated when I go to put my red on. And I think my red has like a little bump. I don't know if you can see, it looks a little dimensional there. Can you see that in the camera? It looks a little dimensional. So I'm going to put that bump down because in my blue one, so when I had 4 holes, so I was holding the button in my right hand and spreading out. And this kind of has a little divot. So I'm going to put, oopsie. This would be a good project if you had kids. This would be a cute project for Mother's Day. You want to get her a bouquet of flowers. You know, these will never go bad. They'll, you know, so be an awesome gift. So then what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to go to the opposite hole, the opposite white, which then should feed me through the opposite red. And then I'm going to do the same here. But then remember, our blue only had 2 holes. So then now it just gives you that nice crisscross. So again, I'm just going to hold it, because if you don't tighten the wire, then these buttons will be loose. So then now we got the 4 wires, and we're going to do the same thing. Just going to hold them with my pliers, and I'm twisting the other side with my hand. Just keep spinning it. And then you want to make sure whatever wire gauge you do use, it fits through the holes on the salt and pepper shakers. Okay, so that is all the flowers I was going to show you. So you can, like I said, you can use a variety of flowers. So let's make some of those curly Q leaves. So I'm just going to take one piece, I'm just going to fold it in half. I'm going to try to get this as like pointed as I can. And then I either took a magic marker, which made this big giant curly Q. So if you have some, you know, maybe just a Sharpie, but then you're just going to take a pen, whoops, hold the beginning down with your thumb, and you're just going to wrap it around. And then you're going to slide it off your pen, and then we can tuck, I mean, this end isn't sharp, but if you use a bigger gauge wire, you can bend that in. And then there is our little curly Q. Or you could just take one whole long piece. It's just really thin, and you can do that. And then just slide it off. Whoopsie, that was my styrofoam. And then, since this is the end, kind of tuck that under. And then you can, you know, pull it out, push it in, or whatever you need to fill in your flower bouquet. Okay, so here we have our salt and pepper shaker. So you're going to decide which flower. I have some, so I have a blue one. I have a bigger blue one here. So I want it to be my top, my biggest one, and I'm going to put that in the middle. So then you can kind of see it's going to go through. So I don't want it that tall. So I will cut off until, you know, the height I want it. And if you need to, just tip your rocks. But this thin wire, like I said, use 22 or 24. When I went to go pick up some salt and pepper shakers, I ran to Walmart and they did not have any. So then just keep adding your flowers. To your salt and pepper shaker. Cut off where you want them. And again, like I said, my wire's a little thin. These buttons, the blue buttons, are kind of heavy. Should have done it a double. Should have done a double wire. But we're just going to keep adding. And then our curly cues, what we can do is add our curly cues here kind of toward the center. And again, you can always tip the jar to get the rocks or whatever you have in there to move. Sand, the colored sand probably would work best because your wire will automatically go down right through the sand. But then your little curly cues can stick out. Let's put some of the ones we just made in. So all I'm doing is just putting it in the holes. I'm not really sharing holes. You can if you want. And then if you want, I mean, when we're done, we'll face the flowers all kind of the same way, just so it will look good from one direction. Like I said, this blue one is so thick or so heavy that it doesn't like my wire. If I just cut it off a little more. I think it's so thin, but then it doesn't like the rocks. This one's up a little high too. Let's cut this one down. We're just going to go around, add all our buttons, tip your jar. If you need to tip your jar, just keep cutting and stuffing. Trim off your buttons or your stems. Keep putting them in the holes. That's how it's looking. Oops, that one. Like I said, the thicker the wire will, the 22, 24, I think I only had like 2 pieces of 24. I think 26 is too heavy. You could always try 26. I can stick my curly cue in here. That one looks super long. I have some more curly cues that I made. That one back there. I made a double one there. Here's like a pretty black. With the red center. If it doesn't go through, like I said, just tip your jar, but then your little curly cues fall out and your big buttons fall over. Okay, I'm just not liking that big button. Let's put this green one with the heart on it in. I just think that the wire wasn't thick enough. This one has the heart, so we can always make sure the heart's coming toward us. I have a daisy looking one. But this is really super easy. Get the kids involved. the husband involved, if you want this, maybe he can work with the kids to make you a bouquet, a flower bouquet, a button flower bouquet. But this is what we have. I hope you enjoyed it. Like I said, you can even use like, this one was a flower shape, and all I did was add a button to the top of it. You know, I'm sure you can add multiples in the holes, especially since it was thinner. My wire was thinner, so you can put more than one button in the hole and make it super full. But how cute is that? I will get some pictures. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching.